now I'm going to show you an exercise on the Reformer. The exercise we're going to do is the shoulder bridge. By this point in your course, you would have already learnt the shoulder bridge on the mat. So you would have been able to break down all the parts and the components to the shoulder bridge. We're going to use that information that you would have already learnt and take it now and transfer it onto this Reformer exercise. So rather than focusing on the actual movement, we can focus on how the Reformer works. But I will get Sarah to show you the movement first. Before she gets started, I love a few pelvic rocks just to get our body warm into this. So what we're feeling is that the lower back is almost imprinting down to the Reformer and then lifting up. But what we're really doing is lifting the tail off the Reformer slightly, and then we're squishing the tail down. We're going into a little bit of spinal extension and a little bit of spinal flexion. The next time you squish your lower back down, Sarah, hold that position, and we call this our tail tuck. This is the starting point to our shoulder bridge. Keep going with that tail tuck, and we're going to lift you up into your shoulder bridge. Once she gets into the air, we're watching a few things. First of all, feet, knees, are they parallel? Most people's feet like to turn out. So those points, quite easy to fix, we have a look at. But the main point we're looking at in our shoulder bridge, it's really around this rib cage area and through the tail. So Sarah, can you show me what most people would do here? And we usually say, keep lifting higher, lift higher, and the chest just keeps coming up. How does that feel?
It really hurts the back.
So let's just roll you all the way back down, reset, and I'll get you to show us one more really nice movement there. And we'll be able to see that Sarah's not going to be lifting that chest as high. It almost feels like you're going to be a whole half a metre lower, but we've got this beautiful sinking down here, and we can see it really well with Sarah, this almost a C-curve shape. Definitely not as much, but this feeling of curving through the spine. What that's going to do is switch on backs of the legs and bum more and protect our lower back. Gorgeous. You can roll on down slowly. Now, while I got Sarah to do those two shoulder bridges, I had her on all springs. First of all, we would have gone into a deep dive into all the springs and how they work. So we got a really good breakdown on the Reformer on the course. But to give a quick little run through those springs, I had Sarah on all springs, which almost makes her Reformer a mat, meaning the ground is really strong, it doesn't move. When we've got all springs on our Reformer, that Reformer is just stuck and holding in space. Now, the fun about the Reformer is we have the ability to take off springs. Before we take off springs, we need to understand what muscles will work more on a lighter load and what muscles work more on a heavier load. And we will learn that with the beauty of the Reformer, nothing's ever easy. Nothing is ever easy. I'm always telling the students there's no easy option. It's just easier for a body part, and then it's harder for another body part. And we can change this little scale relationship. So the muscles we're mostly working for are the hamstrings and the glutes. The hamstrings running down the back of the thighs, glutes being basically your bottom muscles. The bottom muscles work to lift us here, basically against gravity, and the hamstring muscles are working to keep the carriage essentially shut. Because the hamstrings do, not this, they squeeze and pull in. So that's the action that we're going to be getting a little more of when we go lighter on the Reformer. So I am going to take off a few springs, Sarah. Good. Let's see how Sarah goes now that we've gone a bit lighter. So you'll roll on up. Of course, we're watching for all those technique points, but we might see the carriage is a little bit more wobbly. Can you move it out a little bit? And you'll see that most people will kind of push out here naturally because those hamstrings have switched off. So we need to tell our clients to pull their knees over the heels, over that foot bar, and that will work. Where are you feeling it, Sarah?
Lots of hamstrings.
Hamstrings, so
glutes.
backs of the knees, really working strong. And then you can roll on down there. So I wouldn't say there's one that's easier or harder. This is now just harder for the hamstrings because these muscles are really having to work to hold. The first time we did it, the hamstrings had turned down a bit, but the emphasis was on the glutes, just in this strong lifting. And we will learn with every exercise what muscles will get stronger or like work more, and then what muscles will work less, depending on our spring load. And you're really shaking there, aren't you?
Lots harder on the hamstrings.
It is so tricky. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Emma.
You are welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed that one.